Good evening, everyone. Tonight's talk is going to be about risking. What you have in your life right now is probably habitual for the most part, and it is common to live our lives in habit. Anything outside that habit is risking, literally. And so say that you have a job, okay? And that job pays the bills, something for you to be involved in, brings you some satisfaction, but it really doesn't, you know, it doesn't really excite you. From the moment that you realize it isn't really satisfying you and something that you really get on fire about, you launch the desire for something different. Going towards that something different is risking. You don't want the same thing. People think that the word that risking means that you jump naked from a plane without a parachute with a bunch of goats. No, it isn't. It's taking yourself and putting yourself on the path of something different. That in itself is risking. It's necessary. Trying to change your life without risking is going to just be ridiculously boring because you're not going to do jack shit anything. You're just going to do the same things every single day, thinking that's going to bring you something different and it won't. Okay? Just because you have a thought, a desire of something different happening in your life, that doesn't mean it's going to manifest on its own without you changing who you are. You don't have it right now, or else you wouldn't desire it. Therefore, what you are telling yourself is that you need to change. Change is risk. It's all about risk. So when I'm coaching my students, one of the key points that I integrate in my courses is to risk. There are levels of risking. Risking can be just simply talking to the neighbor who you've lived next door to for years, and you know his name. You see him out walking his dog, but you've never really said hi. And your desire, hopefully, is improve your personal relationships. We all want to do that, but yet you don't say hi to your neighbor. Makes no sense. So part of the process of getting what you want is taking risks and saying hi to your neighbor. Start there. I'm not asking you to do a speech on a street corner about sex. Okay? That would be risky. So start small. If you want to have a better relationship with your parents, as an example, call them up, ask them for coffee, sing one by one or together. Get them out of their environment. Do something different together. And then you start bringing up subjects that you normally don't talk about. That's a risk. So risking is not really doing the terrifying things that you fear so much as doing the small things that you haven't done. And yes, it's fearful, or you would have done it. Now, that's where you start out. If you want to have a pocket full of money, you start, leaving cash in your wallet. Okay? And you don't worry about needing that cash. That's a risk. It's different. Anything that is different from your typical day goes under the category of risking. Now, so you build that up. over the, days, weeks, months, years. It depends on how fast you want to change and to what degree that you want to change. If you are if you are living alone by yourself, not even animals, and you have no one around you, and you've lived that way for years, you're going to want to start small. Okay, build it up. And then pretty soon, perhaps ask people over to the house for coffee or tea. Again, every step is a little risk. Hi, Allison. And so go for it, just incrementally. Now, if you are in an abusive marriage, incremental changing isn't what I would request that you make. I would have you do something more drastic. Go to marriage counseling. Number 1. If he is physically or she is physically harming you, you get your ass out of the way. You go stay in a motel at a friend's house, move back in with mom and dad until you sort things out, whatever. Get yourself out of physical harm. Okay? I was not physically endangered. I was psychologically and emotionally endangered. And so it launched who I am now, definitely. And I'm grateful for that. But I got out of the relationship because it was toxic. And there are many people who are staying in toxic relationships because they won't take the risk of getting out of them. They're trying to change the other person. If I love him enough, he will change. Sorry, honey, you've loved enough. It's time to love yourself. Get out of the relationship. It's a big risk. I understand that. But if you want a loving relationship and he's not ready to give that, it's time to seek greener pastures. Okay, don't force him into a change. Don't revise him, revise yourself. Get out of the situation. Hi, Arlene, honey. Hi, Danette. Thank you for joining me, ladies. So, depending on the situation, it will request different levels of risking. I took a big risk when my part of my dental repair of years ago fell out. And I was given a really major risk. Okay, Karen, it's time for you to get your dental work done. Terrified of dentists. Absolutely terrified. I immediately let go of the fear. I picked up the phone. I called the dentist. And he was the perfect choice. And several years later, and a hell of a lot of money that all just came to me, I have the smile I always wanted and the health of my mouth. And it was a mess. It was a real mess. I'm sure he bought a second home with the amount of money I gave him. And oh my God, ladies, he was nice looking. He still is nice looking. No, I didn't touch. Tempted. So that was a hell of a risk for me. And did I shake? Oh, yeah. But did I follow through on taking care of myself? And the answer is yes, I did. Transformed my life. The bigger the risk, the bigger the transformation. And now I personally am in big jumping mode all the time. If I'm not jumping around and changing things drastically, I get bored. Okay. And when I get bored, you don't want to be around me when I'm bored. Okay. I pick on you. Maybe that's why I pick so much sometimes. So for me, I am doing giant leaps. But you don't have to. Okay. Start small if it's a small situation. If your car has bald tires, go out, take a financial risk, and get the tires replaced. If your car needs repairing, take the financial risk. But do it in faith, knowing that God prepares the way for you, and money out will be money replenished by the source of all abundance, and that's God the Father. But you need to have faith with that, okay? I know I did. Hell, you know, I couldn't be talking to you if I didn't have faith. Pardon me. So my risks are big. It's living on my own for countless years and then having Janet Hessler Nevins move in with me this coming spring. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm used to living alone. Okay, there's going to be adjustments. But my desire is to be with people at all times and to open my home up. This is a big risk for me. Okay. Another big risk is taking my clients to Sedona, but a big batch of clients. I'm thinking 16 to 18, and having the time of our lives for 4 days in Sedona. And I am on fire in Sedona. I am a human vortex. So that's a big risk. And then what's the other risk? The other risk is moving back to California after 35 years and being there for the transformation, committing myself to a bigger thing other than just my own self. Okay. The time for repairing me is at an end. And I'm just cleaning up, the residue right now. And then the next thing would be risking everything and being in the relationship of my dreams. So all of my risking is about major changes in my life. I can handle that. I'm used to it. And with each step, the ego comes up and wants to draw you back. That's the issue with risking. You know damn well that whenever you risked in the past, it resulted in something that wasn't pleasant. And probably you capitulated and went back into your hole. I don't like that at all. If you are going to take a risk, balls up, stand your ground, and risk boldly, brazenly, or however you want to risk, you stand your ground. Don't go chickening out at the last, drop the ball, and go back into your closet. That's what the ego wants you to do. So when you start risking, and this is the part of risking people don't like, okay, it will bring up the rebuttal from the ego. And I see this happening all the time where people want to change their lives. Start on the bridge of incidents. Things come up from the ego and they turn tail and run. Hi, Cheryl. And you cannot do that and expect any change. You can't. You've got to stand your ground. You got to grow a big pair. And you've got to learn how to laugh and scream and say, I am not moving off my position. And I am standing firm. For the first time in my life, I'm going to stand firm. And this is my choice. And this risk is worth everything. When you risk at higher levels, you bet the farm. And there are times that you seemingly lose everything. I know I went through that this past June with my former SP, and I literally exposed myself. I opened myself up and I told him exactly what I wanted. And it shook me to the core that I did that. I've never done that before. And so 4 days later, he turned me down. His ego turned me down. And I still wanted what I wanted. I wanted that commitment of someone who would be in my life through thick and thin and would allow me, would understand me and accept me totally. And I ended up having a multitude of people. take his position. Okay. So I won. I lost with him, continued on my desired path, and got what I wanted in spades. So if you seem to lose the farm, don't take that as the final answer. And what I'm trying to teach my coaching clients is never drop the ball. You risk. You risk a little every single day. All mystics say that every day you die and get resurrected. Risking is that. Okay? You put things on the line and you say, damn it, I am going to go for it. I'm going to trust that everything works out to my benefit because God loves me. And he surrounds me with his love. And I am not going to lose. I may think I lost, but something will take the place of my expectation. And I will win. I will be victorious. If you don't listen to the ego is pretty damn treacherous. Okay, always chattering, always telling you to stop, always telling you go hide. It's dangerous. You're going to hurt somebody. You're going to offend somebody. You're going to lose your family ties. And risking is going against the ego's voice, literally. That's what you're doing, okay? And so if you want to give up the ego, what you do is risk, okay? That's what risking is about, going against that raucous shrieking that's constant in you. And so, guys, risking is where it's at. If you aren't risking daily, however you do it, incrementally, or you risk the farm, based on what change you want, by the way. Okay, if you want a better relationship, you don't just do a SATs and you don't just do some affirmations. You put yourself out there on the market in a sense. Okay, maybe you go out with your girlfriends. Maybe you go to a bar alone. Maybe you go to a dance. You have to take some kind of action to involve yourself in life. That's different than what you're doing now. No, that does not bring about the manifest result per se, but you're telling the universe that you are ready for the change you say that you want. Again, another reason to risk. Do risk daily, several times a day. If somebody comes up to you that you haven't liked and wants to engage with you, risk your judgment on them. Interact with them. Okay? See where it leads you. Stop being so chicken shit. Okay? It's not getting you anywhere. So thank you very much for listening to me prattle tonight. And I'm telling you guys, risking is where it's at. Thanks, guys.